typically, I know a lot of the Hollywood productions, they, it's 12 hours, 16-hour days sometimes. Independent films is a little bit different. I can tell you, with my film Victim of Circumstance, we kind of shot around some of our actors' schedules. And that was because, well, one of the young ladies, Rashawn McCollum, she's not here tonight, but she was doing a lot of work on HBO The Wire, and she was our lead character. So she would have to go back and forth to Maryland to actually shoot in The Wire. And so, we shot maybe 2 weeks straight, with her here, and then we had to take a break, but it actually took us 3 months to shoot the film, another 3 months to edit, and so we finished the project in a total of 6 months. But yeah, weekend, it's just depending on the project, depending on the director, and if they're willing to work around your particular schedule. But I'm pretty sure there's something out there that you could find that would fit into your schedule. And sometimes we got to make sacrifices. This is a business of sacrifice, and I'm not saying quit your job and go into the acting industry. No, I'm not saying that. Yeah, definitely. But you do have to make sacrifices.
I would definitely have to agree with that. Me personally, it's easy for me to hit the weekend. I did time stillers in 4 days, 2 weekends of really, really long hour days, which was kind of funny. Side note: people were sleeping when we were turning down the cameras and putting it back up. But no, what was said, it's really something that to where if you do have that time of where it's that one day where you got to do that scene and you got to call in sick to work or something like that, a lot of times, yes, you have to pay the bills, but a lot of times in the long run, it's definitely worth the calling up your job, calling in sick, using a vacation day, something like that to really show up and do that. If nothing else, for reference, because if I have somebody that that really put forth what I felt is 110%, and one of my buddies calls me up or somebody calls me up and goes, hey, I need this or I need that, I'm going to more likely throw that person up first, going, hey, this person was doing this and they were doing that and they were really, they were a go-getter. That person is more likely going to be, through word of mouth, is going to be on the first top of that list. So a lot of times that one day will get you that weekend job of the bigger and better.
Damon, you had a couple night scenes in your first movie, right? Can you share about that?
Yeah, basically what I really had to do was, for my primary cast, I really had to make my schedule or adjust the schedule according to their lifestyles. What I like to do with my stories is several of the scenes actually are filmed at nighttime because of the content of the storyline. Meaning, like, prime example, there's one character that may have, the scene may have to take place at, let's say, 11 at night, but most of the scenes are indoors. So understanding the scenery and how the storyline is written, it may be a nighttime scene, but if it's indoors, you're really okay. So it's never really complicated for a filmmaker to actually make adjusting with the camera, special effects, lighting, but there are budget concerns with that. But the last project I did, 75% of the scenes were night scenes. And that was because of the nature of the scene. And I wanted the atmosphere, including the scenery, the time of the day, to suit the particular character and the situation, what was going on. There was a scene where the character, the female lead, and she was, of course, in an abusive relationship. And she actually comes home every other scene from either her job, a night out with a friend, or a date. So although the scene in the script said it's at night, daytime, interior, Maxine's house, night, it was shot indoors. And we shot that scene, let's say around 1 or 2 in the afternoon. But we were actually able to accommodate the scene with the proper lighting, the proper interior designs, etc. So where sunlight won't reflect into the house. So never let that deter you. Okay, never let that deter you. Always understand that with each scene, there are special effects and guys who actually in the crew that can actually adjust the scenery to make it look like another particular time of day than what it is. Yeah, they do it all the time, and independent filmmakers, we can do it well. But you do have a bunch of concerns with that.
We're already on the map. Charlotte, and the reason why I say that, and a lot of people don't know this, at one time Charlotte was the 4th in the nation as far as movie making, producing cities. What people don't realize now, Atlanta's doing a lot of film, but it's indie. It's a lot of independent filmmakers. It's a lot of guys running around with a camera. You know, we're shooting, if you look on the walls here, I don't know if you walk down the wall, but we worked with Nate Parker in The Great Debaters, John Travolta in Domestic Disturbance, Halle Berry, Danny Glover, Nia Long, Sidney Poitier, Martin Lawrence in The Black Knight, John Travolta, Domestic Disturbance, Gwyneth Paltrow and Jack Black in Shallow Hal, Joanna Man with Miguel Nunez. So Charlotte's on the map. What a lot of times happens is that actors don't realize, and you're not going to hear about it. We're filming Army Wives in South Carolina. We did radio with Cuba Gooding in South Carolina. So because of the tax incentive, we've been on the map for years. You know, I think as far as what actors need, they're only going to see that if you're connected with an agency. Because that kind of stuff, unless they're looking for masses of people, they're not going to advertise it in the newspaper. Or, as a matter of fact, out of show of hands, how many people here has been in a movie? A major motion picture movie. What movie, Mark?
Well Done, Sign My Name.
Who was in that?
Rick Schroeder.
Okay, who else?
Nate Parker.
Nate Parker's from The Great Debaters.
Ruby
D.
Miss Ruby D.
Okay, Miss Ruby D.
Miss Ruby D.
Okay.
Rex Lynn.
Okay.
Robert Cook.
Okay.
The author of the book himself.
Okay. Let me ask you this. How about you, Ken? Who was in that? Who else? Same movie?
Same movie.
Okay, what other movie you been in? Is there a mic back there? Can you think of another movie? Kim, what movie?
Gospel Hill.
Gospel Hill starring?
Angela Bassett, Nia Long, Julia Stiles.
Okay, Julia Stiles. Kendra?
King Bolden, Anthony Macklin was in that. Joanna Man. What was the other one with Whoopi Goldberg?
Eddie.
Eddie. That was a long time ago. So yeah.
And also that was with Omar Gooding from Bolden. And that was shot in Wilmington. That's where the movies are being shot, in Wilmington. Yes.
Yeah, to answer that as well, to piggyback on what Victor was saying, yeah, North Carolina in general, Charlotte, yeah, there are a lot of films that have been shot here. I think some of that kind of dried up a little bit because like it was real hot in the 90s, and it kind of fell back a little bit because so many other states had sweeter tax incentives. I mean, you're talking about going to Toronto and shooting, and they're giving you 40-50% of tax incentives. You know, state of Michigan, 42%. I mean, Atlanta is like 30%. Now, the beautiful thing about it is that's swinging in North Carolina because they just passed a new tax incentive which gives filmmakers 25% for shooting in the state of North Carolina. So I think you're going to start to see that trend of what happened in the 90s is going to start happening again right here. And that's why like everybody in this room is in an awesome position, and especially if you got an agent like Mr. Vince Paul here, you know, to put and guide you to that. Because like you said, you know, Shallow Hal, you know, all of these other films. Eddie, I remember when they did Eddie. That was a while back. Like you said, it was a real long time ago. But they shot that in when the Hornets used to play it. Yeah. And so, you know, those opportunities are definitely there. And I think 2010 is going to be a very huge year for North Carolina because those tax incentives will be kicking in.
Plus, we got the film crews here. We got the film crews, we got the production company. Just in Charlotte alone, Oasis Films, Silverhammer Studios, Paradox Films, Dragonfly Studios. We have them here. You know, you can go on the website, you can go on the North Carolina Film Directory and see, you will be amazed. I mean, we even go back as far as Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise. You know,
The Patriot.
The Patriot with Mel Gibson. So, Talladega Nights with Will Ferrell.
Big Chill.
So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff being shot in the Carolinas. And I'm surprised more people that are sitting here have not been in these productions. Next question.